Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. And I'm getting so many text messages from folks that I thought that I would just have, just kind of put out whatever I have here. I feel like I've been doing a couple of Facebook messages and too many Facebook messages. I feel like I just want to, put it out here and talk to you all. Look, people, I keep getting text messages from people telling me, Sister Linda, what do we do now? And I want you to listen to me very carefully. I want everybody to listen to me very carefully. The first thing that we're going to do, all of us, and especially for our kids, we as adults have a responsibility. And the responsibility is that we are walking with our back straight, our head held high. If you had to walk in the corner and cry in your room, whatever you had to do, that's cool. Our kids need to see strength. In order for our young people to be able to get up and go to school, to study, to take care of whatever responsibilities they have, they need the courage of us, the aunts, the uncles, the moms, the dads, the aunties. Your little nieces and nephews, your little sisters and brothers are looking up to you right now. So there is no one to blame here. If you did not vote for Trump, you are not to blame here. Trump lost the popular vote, people. I want you to understand that why this electoral college is really problematic. Trump did not get a majority of voters. Yes, it is outrageous that 59 million people voted for Donald Trump. But remember that we live in a country with 340 million Americans. So what do we have to do right now? It's very simple. We cannot hide in our houses. We cannot sit back and say, this is just the fate that we're in. This is not who we are. This is not who we've ever been. And it is time right now for us to go public in our dismay. We will not stand for anyone who is going to roll back the Voting Rights Act. Someone who has said that he's going to take away DACA, which is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, the mass deportations. We did not say that. We are not the ones that need to sit here and apologize or be afraid for something that we ourselves did not put ourselves in the situation. It is not our fault. Okay? There are many groups to blame here. But no, I am not blaming third-party voters. I'm not blaming young people. I'm not even blaming the people who may have decided not to vote in this election. Could we have done more in this election? Yes. But you know what? So could have the Democratic Party. So could have the political parties. We have to understand that this, sisters and brothers, is a wake-up call for all of us. I want to talk to my Muslim sisters and brothers in particular. You see me, I will never, ever ask you to do something that I myself would not do. I would not ask you to go anywhere that I myself would not go first to make sure that I am putting your best interests at heart in whatever it is and whatever fight that we have. Sisters and brothers, the time is now for us to show and project our values. I am trying to find a silver lining here. And I know none of you can see it. I know it's hard for you to see. You think I'm crazy. You're like, how does Linda even see even some positivity in this? You know what I see in this? Maybe there's a reason why this happened. Maybe people needed this to happen for there to be a wake-up call. Whether or not that is the reason why we're in this situation, I want you to know that it happened. It's real. It's reality. I'm not afraid. We have deported 1,000 immigrants a day for the past 8 years. We have the Patriot Act. We are under unwarranted surveillance. We're droning innocent people across the world. We're still engaged in wars. We shot down DAPA, which would have helped undocumented parents in Texas. I want you to know that we are in this. And when I ask you to do something, when I tell you to find a community to organize with, when I tell you to show up and support Black Lives Matter activists, when I tell you to support immigrant rights activists, I'm telling you to do that because we were going to come to a point where we needed to have real, transformative, genuine relationships for us to ensure the safety of other sister communities and the safety of our communities. Top priority right now is 3 things. The top priority right now is our children. This is the time to love your children. Tell them that it's going to be all right. You may think you're lying. I'm not telling us that we have to lie to our children, but I want our children to know that we got their back, right? That our children are going to go to school. We're going to protect them. We're going to engage with their schools. We're going to make sure that they feel safe in their schools. We're going to talk to their teachers. We're going to talk to law enforcement agencies and make sure that our mosques feel protected, and only those who want protection get the protection that they want. We can create our own security forces at our mosques to ensure that people on Fridays are being protected when they go and feel safe. We are not going to stop going to mosque, and I will not allow young women to feel afraid. It is your choice if you want to wear hijab or don't want to wear hijab. I respect you. I love you regardless of any choice that you make. But I want you to know that you have every right in these United States of America to wear your hijab and feel safe and protected. We will not change who we are. We are not going to apologize for who we are. We are going to stand up just like our faith tells us to. Sisters and brothers, I have said this to you many times before. I'm not an activist because I think it's cool. I'm an activist because I'm Muslim. You follow a religion that is a religion of justice. Your religion tells you to stand up against the tyrants and the oppressors. We've had tyrants and oppressors before. It's not the first time. Maybe now people could realize that apathy, inaction, sitting home, doing nothing, watching it from afar, observing has not helped our community. I'm going to tell you one more thing. One of the reasons why we are in the situation that we are in, one of the reasons why our community has been scapegoated, is because our opposition has observed us as Muslim communities, and leaders or appointed leaders in our community have engaged in respectability politics and working towards acceptance and not respect of our communities. Sisters and brothers, the time is now. I don't care who likes me. I don't care who respects. I don't care who wants to learn about Islam or doesn't want to learn about Islam. All I want is for my community, for me as an individual, for my children to be treated with dignity and respect, and all people deserve dignity and respect. The question is, what are you willing to do to bring that dignity and respect to our communities? Sisters and brothers, fear won't do it. Sitting at home and hiding won't do it. Feeling intimidated and silence will not do it. Let me tell you something. I think about this all the time, and I sit here today and I think about this, and I'm asking myself this question. This is a test. The question is, how are you going to pass this test? My question to you is, as you sit here, as you're watching this, I want you to ask yourself this. 50 years from now, 60 years from now, when some of us will not be on this earth, what story are people going to tell about Muslims in America in 2016? Are they going to say that the Muslims in 2016 were silenced? They sat back. They did not fight for our right to be Muslim in America. They allowed us to be oppressed. They allowed us to be targeted. They did not stand up. Or are they going to say 60 years from now, 70 years from now, those Muslims are going to say, we're so damn proud to be Muslim in America 70 years from now because those Muslims in 2016 stood up for us. Sisters and brothers, this is the time to process. You're feeling hurt. I cried today. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm broken inside. I cannot believe I'm so disappointed in 60 million sisters and brothers, our neighbors who live in our communities, elected officials in our communities who were chanting Trump, 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 and no one held them accountable, right? People that are representing us that were supporting this man who was engaging in racism, sexism, misogyny, anti-immigrant sentiment, anti-women. He has a vice presidential candidate who's one of the biggest homophobes in this country. Sisters and brothers, I'm not saying that the fault is all ours, but we also have to be self-reflective and ask ourselves, why are we in the situation that we are in? This silent majority business is not working for us. The opposition, those who are anti-immigrant, those who are sexist, those who are misogynist, those who are Islamophobes, those who are anti-Semites, sisters and brothers, are not more than we are. If we added them all together, literally, we added them one by one and we put them all together, they are not more than we are. But while we are not outnumbered, right, we are out-organized. We need to put our resources, we need to focus, we need to organize together. No more silos, no more environmental justice, racial justice, immigrant rights, anti-Islamophobia work, privacy issues. We got to work together. Let me tell you about our opposition. Our opposition, right? The same people who are homophobes are Islamophobes. The same people who are Islamophobes are often anti-Semites. The same people who are anti-Semites are the ones who justify the murder of innocent, unarmed black men and women across this country. The same people who want to deport millions of undocumented immigrants out of this country. The same people who want to defund Planned Parenthood. So if those people are organized, if those people are working together, if those people are all on the same page, if evil, hatred, bigotry, and divisiveness brings them together, why can't justice and compassion and love bring us together? That's why I don't understand. So my question to you is, can we learn from the opposition by organizing, by staying focused, by waking up every single morning with the same commitment to our communities, to our families, to our neighborhoods that the opposition has to divide us and conquer our communities? Sisters and brothers, this is a wake-up call. I'm not afraid, but that doesn't mean that I'm not sad inside. It doesn't mean that I'm not broken. It doesn't mean that I didn't sleep since yesterday, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's been over 30 hours and I'm still awake. I'm outraged. The other thing that I want you to be, and I know you're going to think I'm crazy, I'm calling it perpetual outrage. I want you to be perpetually outraged. People are going to say, Sister Linda, you know history. This is not the first time this has happened. We've had these moments before. Even we've had times where we had a presidential candidate, like when we went from Ulysses S. Grant to Hayes, or when we got Richard Nixon, that there was always a backlash that happened. And oftentimes it was white lash, as Van Jones had put it. I know this has happened before. I know my history. You don't got to school me. But that does not make it right. That does not make it acceptable. That does not mean we sit back and say, well, it's just history repeating itself. I'm going to make that choice for myself. That I'm not going to be the one that sits back and says, this is just history. I'm just going to let it happen. Not on my watch. And I hope that you are going to say today, not on your watch either. So what I'm telling you is, if you have to sit home, if you have to cover yourself in a blanket, if you don't want to watch TV, if you want to go out to the movies with your friends, if you want to do whatever it is that you need to do, to collect yourself, to love yourself, to remind yourself that this country, these United States of America, were built on the backs of black people and immigrants, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents. Unless you are an indigenous person and a Native American, there are no indigenous people to this land that are not Native American. So we're all immigrants, whether we were forced to come here or whether we chose to come here. So in honor of those who built this nation, I'm asking you to honor their legacy with courage, with moral courage. I'm asking our white allies, if there was ever a time for you to be an ally, the time is now. Sometimes you need to muster up more courage to hold your own community accountable, to hold other white people accountable, than for you to stand up to the President of the United States of America or their Attorney General or whatever other powers that be that there are. So what I'm asking for people today to do is, I know this is going to sound like one of those memes that you see online. Keep calm. I'm calm. I cried. I'm angry. I'm outraged. But I'm still calm. There's like a calmness in my heart, because now there is clarity. I don't have to justify for you why people are on the front lines. I don't have to justify for you why people put their hands behind their backs and are willing to be arrested. I don't have to now you know why people were doing this work. What I'm hoping happens today is that we multiply our movements, that more people come to the front lines, that you are on the front lines. And when I come to your community and I say I need you to volunteer, or I need you right now to do something, I want you to be able to say, I'm going to give whatever I have. You may not have what I have. You may not have. I'm back. My connection was weak. But I'm telling you right now that I love all my sisters and brothers who tell me, Sister Linda, mashallah, Sister Linda, mashallah. I love you all. I love every single one of you who has ever made a dua for me, who has ever prayed for me and my family. I love you. I love you for the sake of Allah. I love all my allies and all my friends. But what I need from you right now is I need your du'as. I want you to pray for our community. May Allah protect us and protect our children, and may they protect our families. But I'm asking you now that every single one of us got something to give, and the time is now. So I hope that in the future, when we start putting some things together, when we put pen to paper and we come up to a plan, that you're going to show up. when you are needed most. And I want you to show up, and I want you to look at your children and say, I'm showing up for you. I'm standing up for you. Today at 4:30, I'm taking my children to Columbus Circle in New York City because I want to show them the beautiful colors of people who are going to be standing in Columbus Circle, telling them, we love you, we stand with you, we will defend you. So today, there is no crisis. We have seen worse things happen in our history. Sisters and brothers, we will never see what where people have seen in our country. We will probably never see what our Japanese American sisters and brothers did. Internment camps on this U.S. soil. We have had slavery. We have had massacres of indigenous people. We have had segregation and new Jim Crow. Yes, we still have segregation. We have mass incarceration. Look, bad things have happened. Bad things continue to happen. And I hope this was the moment for me of clarity for everyone, that we are all on the same side. We all want pursuit to happiness. We want liberty. We want to be free. We want to be able to walk in the streets of our community safely. That's all we want. I want to work. I want to feed my family. I want to be happy. That's all I want. I want my kids to have access to higher education. I want to be able to be sick and go to a doctor. Sisters and brothers, I have basic health care. I still have to pay a premium. I don't have dental care. I don't have behavioral health. Like, I understand the economic frustrations that people have. I'm a renter in New York. I may never own a house in this country. Literally, I will never be a homeowner based on the current economic situation that we are in. I get it. But that is not a free pass to endorse bigotry and hatred. It is not an opportunity to justify why anyone would support a man who has engaged in this kind of behavior. Look, I don't know. I'm praying about it. But one thing that actually bothered me here, and I'm talking to people of faith in particular, like 80% of evangelicals voted for this brother. Like Christians, like I know Christians. My Christian sisters and brothers are people of love and justice, and they believe that Jesus was a Palestinian Jewish refugee. And here are people voting in the name of Christ for bigotry and hatred. Like, Jesus would not be proud. He is not proud of us. He's a man who stood, he's a prophet who stood with the most marginalized, the most poor. So we have to also understand the motivation that people are talking from or engaging from. So anyway, I'm not going to take too much more of your time. I've had so many people text messaging me, asking me what we do now. Show up. There are going to be actions around the country. Go out and be public. If you feel unsafe, I'm telling you that our allies are working on ensuring that there be safety plans. There would never be if there's an action where you don't know what the safety plan is, maybe that's not an action that Muslim sisters want to go to or undocumented sisters and brothers want to go to. But if there's an organization in your community that you trust, that you know is going to have your welfare and best interest at heart, I want you to show up. I want people to look you in the eye and tell you that you don't belong here. We belong here. This is our country, and we have to start acting like it's our country, because people are trying to push us up against the wall for us to denounce who we are as Americans. I have never had to tell anyone that I'm a default. I was born and raised here, and I'm not proving myself to anybody. So I hope that you find the moral courage in your heart to stand up for not just you and your family, but for all of us. I hope that you find the moral courage in your heart to love your children unapologetically in a way that you've never loved them before. I want you to tell your children how much you love them and hug them and how beautiful they are, and not to worry. You know why I tell my kids not to worry? Because I'm committed to working 10 times more than I worked the first time. You know what? Maybe I'm not sure about what's going to happen, but what I will say, I'm going to be able to say that I did everything that I could. Just like I don't regret 1 second of this election, because I did everything in my power, everything that I had, every resources, every breath that I had, I used to try to come out with another outcome, and it didn't happen. That's not my fault. It's not your fault. The system is broken. Let's be real here. So let us commit to today and tomorrow and to January 21st. Let us show no fear. Let us love our community, radical love. You know, like right now, every single difference that we had in our community, every imam that didn't like another imam, every organization that doesn't work with this organization, every organization that, you know, Republicans, Democrats, I don't care who's on what side and what for, you know, what Middle Eastern politics, like the time is now to come together. They're playing on our divisions. They're playing on the fractures and cracks in our community, and we cannot let that happen. Sisters and brothers, I'm not afraid. I'm actually, believe it or not, more committed and more emboldened than ever. And again, I want to remind you, I want you to be perpetually outraged, and I told you this before.
Every time a young black man or woman in this country is killed by law enforcement, people say, Linda, why are you acting surprised? I'm not surprised, but I'm still going to be outraged. I'm not going to allow our opposition to numb my humanness, my humanity, and my heart. Every time, even my phone's getting hot now. I want to be able, sisters and brothers, to always be outraged when bad things are happening, when injustice is happening around us. That is how you stay human. I want you to be sad when bad things happen. I want you to be outraged. I want you to be, you have emotions, use your emotions, okay? I want you to also motivate and encourage each other. And in the movement, in the Black Lives Matter movement, there's a chant that we do. And it says, excuse me, it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our change. Sisters and brothers, you may believe that you have a lot to lose, but there are going to be some of us that are going to have to make a decision if we're ready to lose whatever it is that we're going to lose for our liberation and for the dignity and respect of our communities. We cannot invoke the names of Muhammad Ali, who risked his career. He risked his wealth. He stood unapologetically as a proud black man in America, a proud Muslim in America, and we can invoke him and put quotes on our Facebook. But you know what? You know what would be better to honor Muhammad Ali's legacy? Channel Muhammad Ali as a Muslim and as a proud black man. Don't quote Malcolm X is if you're not about to get freedom by any means necessary. That's what he said. He said, if you're not ready to die for it, then take that word freedom out of your mouth. That's what Malcolm X says. If that's the Malcolm X that you support, if that's the Malcolm X that inspires you, then you need to read deeply. You need to absorb and you need to implement. Malcolm X had no fear. Just remember this, sisters and brothers, for the Muslims that are like, we just got to educate more people about Islam. If more people knew Muslims, we would be in a better situation. No, I don't believe that anymore. I believe that we are in a situation right now, sisters and brothers, right? Where we channel people like Malcolm X. Malcolm X, by the way, was one of the most hated men in America and probably continues to be one of the most hated men in American history. But guess what? He was one of the most respected men in America. So I call on you, my Muslim sisters and brothers, saddle up, get ready, and let's start demanding respect and stop appeasing and engaging in respectability politics that has brought nothing to our community, but has actually framed us as a tool for countering terrorism. We have been only talked about being on the front lines of countering terrorism. There got to come a day when someone says, Linda, she happens to be a Muslim, but she cares about education and immigration. She's a woman that cares about her community. She cares about environmental justice. She just happens to be a Muslim. That's the day that I'm looking forward to. So anyway, keep your head up, sisters and brothers. I love you all for the sake of Allah. I'm here for you. I want you to know that I'm good. I'm good. I'm just more committed. My mind is going. I'm thinking of strategies, tactics, what we got to do next. We got to formulate a plan and we got to execute that plan. That's all I am. That's all I'm thinking. So if you see a delay for me, I don't want you to think that Linda's crying in a corner somewhere. I'm going to stay sad. I'm still disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you. But I want to have strategy. If you have an idea to share with me, if you have a master plan, if you want to get in on this, if you want to organize, if you've never organized and you want to organize, this movement is open to you. Our future generations of Muslims and non-Muslims are counting on you. My question to you is, are you going to be a hero in history or are you going to be the coward in history? I'm trying to be a hero. I'm trying my best. And at the end of the day, especially Muslims, we are taught two things. I mean, we're taught a million things, but I'm going to pick two things right now. With hardship comes ease. I believe that. And I know many of you have been through many traumatic situations, and alhamdulillah, you got out of those situations. And after your hardships, you have experienced ease, right? That's just how it is. I also want you to know, as Muslims, that we have a responsibility to act, right? We have a responsibility to stand up against injustice, because there's going to come a day when we will meet our Lord and we are going to be asked, what did we do in the face of injustice? And I guarantee you that question is not going to be about what did you do in the face of injustice against Muslims, because Islam has never been justice is just us. So moving forward, we as Muslims have only one fear, and that is the fear of Allah. And if there's any other fear in your hearts, let's get through this together spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Let's love each other. Let's heal. If you need a break, for the organizer friends I have out here, if you need a break, take one. Tell me that you need a break, and I'll make sure that every other organizer in the U.S. knows that you need a break and not to contact you. If you need someone to talk to, if you're feeling down and out, if you feel burnt out, take a break. No one's going to say you left the movement. No one's going to say you don't care about the community. You are and must invest in yourself, because we need you out here. So anytime you're tired, just let us know that you're tired, and we're going to let you rest. So I love you all. Keep your head up. Tell your kids we got them. I am ready to lay myself on the line, like my body's on the line right now, if I have to get to that situation. So assalamu alaikum, everyone. Love you all, and inshallah I'll come back soon.